Oh, cut off our ridiculous lighting situation. Hey, friends. Sound off and chat if you're here. It's time for the usual early chat, early stream vamping. We got stuff today. We got masks today. It's been a little while. It's been a minute, feels like, since we talked about masks.
Yep.
I hope y'all are doing okay, given everything. I see a fuzziness, which I think means I should wipe off my webcam. Let's see if that helps.
I'm not sure. I think it's just
It might just be YouTube.
artifacting.
Yeah.
It's compression issues.
Well, I tried.
Yeah.
So anyways, fun thing happened yesterday. We launched a new website. That was nice. It's been several months in the coming. Yeah. And has changed dramatically since what we imagined in January of 2020. Moment of silence for January 2020. But one of the nice things that I think we got to do with this website that hasn't changed is that we're offering options for a lot of different people and a lot of different needs.
Yeah.
And even though we've switched to masks, we've included masks now in our catalog. One of the really fun things about developing masks is that we got, feedback from people the same way we did for binders, saying, hey, this isn't going to work for me. How about this? Or what if you did this? Or this isn't quite working. And of course, we made our own feedback also and figured out things that didn't work for us and ended up with 4 different kinds of masks to fasten. And for the record, everything we use here is going to go straight to the laundry after this. As you may or as I hope by now you've probably seen or heard, typical mask hygiene involves only touching the sides, the fastenings, sanitizing your hands before and after you touch it, and then not messing with it at all through the course of the day. Should we go over that in more detail?
It's on our website.
It's on our website. Sydney McElroy did it, and she did it great. So, yeah.
You're talking about mask fastenings.
Thank you. It's been that kind of week.
It's been that kind of morning.
Yeah. Hey, we've got people here. Sound off in chat. Hello. So, your typical mask that everybody knows about because it is similar to a style mask manufactured and shipped overseas is this with the ear loops on the sides. And so if you anchor the ear loops on the corners of your basic mask, and then they go around the ears, or more often these days around your face, and then an ear saver, like buttons sewn onto a headband or a plastic ear saver. And the way it gets worn, you hook it over your nose and over your chin, and then you loop it around your ears. I think most people are used to this, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody's seen this. And this is also the kind that, people used in the before times.
What specifically is the before times?
Like if you go to the dentist's office.
Okay.
That sort of thing in the before times.
Yeah, the standard industrial made paper masks.
Yeah. And this is also the style that the classic Deaconess pattern that everybody was making in March said to do. Having loops around the ears is like a really simple way to take it on and off really quickly, which is useful for a lot of professions.
It's also an easy anchor point that doesn't take up a lot of elastic.
Yeah.
Or spandex in our case.
Or spandex in our case. But when there was an elastic shortage, that meant a lot. But fortunately for us, we do not have a spandex shortage. So one of the newer varieties, which is actually exists now thanks to a friend of ours specifically asking for it, is the long loops, which instead of being anchored on the sides, it's anchored top and bottom. So the two top corners get a loop of spandex between them, the two bottom corners get a loop of spandex between them. And that means that these go over your head. And some people seem to really like these. I have my own personal issues with them, but I know a lot of people really enjoy them. One thing that you can see is that the top loop goes like over the top of my head. It sits like right at the crown of my head. And then it just stays there. And no amount of me taking my glasses on and off will disrupt it, which is an advantage over the ear loops. Can y'all hear me? Okay, should I slow down a bit talking while I'm talking through the mask? Let us know in chat if I am muffled. You will see my glasses are fogging up because I did not put a nose wire in any of these yet. If you have glasses, I recommend getting a nose wire because it makes
it's not just a nose wire, it's a strip of flannel.
Yes.
The nose wire doesn't really do anything.
It does something. It conforms it to the nose.
Right, but you have a nose wire in a regular paper mask and it doesn't do anything.
That's true.
It just conforms it to your nose.
Yeah, and that I think that blocks a little bit of the air, but the flannel casing is really what does a lot. Wow, and you can really see that. Hello. But yeah, I really like the long loop over the top of the head. The long loop around the back of the neck bothers me for some reason, and I think that's down to personal preference. When I move my head, it sort of slips around for me. I don't know. It seems to, like, I can feel that it creates a seal around the line of my jaw. So it's not super loose.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just don't like spandex on the back of my neck. That's allowed.
But so do you have the same problem with the cord?
I don't. Weirdly enough, having a cord, like a nylon cord on the back of my neck is fine. It's just having the spandex on the back of my neck that I turn my head and it slips and it feels weird. And I don't know how to describe that. But that's why I made this style, which is the half and half. It's got a long loop around the top of the head and then a cord with a cord lock around the bottom. Drop that over, slip that over. And then I've got the long loop goes on top of my head. And then you can see right now it's kind of hanging loose. But all I have to do is take the cord lock.
You have to speak louder when you're turned away from the microphone.
When I'm turned away from the microphone and muffled by a mask, I have to speak louder. And I also have to make sure that the cord is properly tied.
And melted on.
We're going to have to melt these knots on for sure when we actually ship them out. But I wanted this to be versatile. I wanted to be able to switch things out on this particular demonstration mask, so I didn't melt the cord. But yeah. I'm taking the cord lock and tightening it. And when I tighten the cord, et voila, the mask is once again creating that seal there. And you can probably see. I like cord locks. They're easy to move. And yeah, when I move my head around, the cord stays still on my skin.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't slip the way spandex did. I'm going to take my glasses off while I'm working with masks that have no wires. But yeah, this is the half and half style. And I really like it.
And see, they don't understand what half and half means because you didn't talk about the cord.
Yep. Yep. This is half cord and half spandex. And now we're going to talk about all cord. This is the all cord mask. It is a single, about 5 foot long MFP, multi-filament poly cord that's 1/8 of an inch thick. We got it from Agreeable Agony, who are great and who do custom braided.
That is an 18 plus only website.
Who are great, and also a not safe for work 18 plus only website. Who do a lot of interesting things with rope. And one of the things they do is custom braid different colors. This is a nice, like, flat gold, which I like as sort of a neutral. And we also have, let's see, trans pride stripes.
As you can see, we bought a lot.
Yeah.
And there's also a rainbow around here somewhere.
It's in the studio. Alas.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get one of the masks with the
rainbow. Yeah, cool. So the full-on cord mask just has a single strand, so it's not knotted anywhere. It just threads through the sides and goes around the back of the head and the back of the neck, and the cord lock here lands at the back of the neck. So I drop that over, and the top cord goes over my ears, and then I pull the cord lock down, lift that top cord where I want it, ta-da! And this, some folks don't like the way the cord lock, the cord mask sort of squunches up the side. What I can say is when I'm wearing it, I don't feel any air going out the sides.
I wonder if threading the cord through that channel would help with that.
It might, but we would need to change our entire bias tape. We would need a different piece for our bias tape maker for there to be a big enough channel for it. But yeah, some people do actually have make masks with a channel that a cord goes through, and it seems to work.
Nega was asking about avoiding fogging up the glasses. So what we've been doing, which is an option on our website, you see this channel here? This is the wire, and this is just cotton flannel. And the flannel, for some reason, I guess just because it's like rougher and more absorbent, it collects the humidity from your breath.
Yep, it collects moisture. You know how the popular mask hack of just folding up a tissue and sticking it there? Flannel, I think, does better than a tissue, and also it feels nicer on your skin. So yeah, that's an option, an add-on option on our new website. So excited for our new website, you guys. Every product can have like a set of add-ons, and you can just click a radio button and be like, yes, I want a nose wire in my mask with a little flannel covering. And someday, soonish, you'll be able to click a button and say, yes, I want a zipper on my binder. God, I'm so excited for that. That day has not yet come because we have closed binder orders for the moment so that we can catch up all of the orders that everybody was so kind to order from us while we were on pause due to everything.
Yeah. Negative says, I don't know the tissue mask hack. I have masks with the wire, but my glasses still fog. Yeah, like it's not really just the wire that does it, it's the flannel. And the tissue hack, as far as I'm aware, is just you take a tissue and you fold it up and stick it right under where your nose hits.
You stick it like there?
Yeah. I've tried it. It's not a perfect solution, but it at least,
well,
it
that
helps
still
a
did
little.
it.
Yeah.
Let's try this now.
I think it probably helps better with the wire.
Yeah, because the wire will hold the tissue down.
Yeah.
Oh, but that worked.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that I have a tissue stuffed right next to the sides of my nose.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually stops the fog.
Sticking up out of the mask, because that's the original. When I originally saw that, the picture that somebody had attached, the tissue was like sticking up out of the mask.
Yeah, but no, where it landed was like about there, which is about where we sew in the flannel. But yes, if you have a mask of your own right now that you just want it to stop fogging for a minute, folding a tissue up and stuffing it in there does seem to do a thing.
Yeah. And I mean, it probably works with like toilet paper or paper towels.
Something that absorbs. So yeah, that's the 4 kinds of fastening. personally, I really like ear loops when I know I'm going to wear it for about 10 minutes. Like, I get into my place of work, which is a building full of many people, and I wear the mask from the car to the studio, and then I take it off. Having an ear loop mask that I can just wear literally to walk through a single building is great. If I'm going grocery shopping, I want something with a cord that stays for a while, because I want to be able to look at shelves and maybe readjust my glasses once or twice and not worry about catching an ear loop and it maybe slipping. These take a little bit longer to get on and get off, but they're really nice and stay there when you have them.
See, I find personally, it's a personal preference. I find that the ear loops stay longer.
Huh.
Like I feel like I have to keep readjusting with the cord.
You also have a different shaped head than me.
I do.
So, like, it may depend on where a cord or a line of spandex lands on your head and whether it stays there. Like, I did have to find the magic spot where the cord just sort of sits at the very top of my head.
I mean, it also might just be because I have longer hair. And sometimes it does get caught in that little toggle. And that might just help it slip off over the course of the day.
And you literally sometimes do things like tie a bow in your hair at that particular point. There's a lot of things to think about, and as with chest binders, it will depend on you and what you try and how you feel about it. If you're not sure what to try first, I honestly recommend a cord, because if you get the cord and you find that you don't like it, you can unthread the cord from the mask and thread anything else through these little holes at the edge of it and say, oh, I have a spare bit of elastic lying around for whatever reason.
Or a
scrunchie, a hair tie. And then you can turn this into an ear loop mask. It's harder to do that with these because we have sewn the spandex in. So these three have stitching that you would have to unpick to modify it. Whereas this is the most versatile because you literally just have to take the cord toggle off and pull the cord out. And then you have this base mask.
And all of them are made like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't pay attention to this one. This was a one-off.
Yeah. Yeah, all of the ones we are making right now are like this. They have 4 threading points at the corners. I got the idea, I mentioned this on a previous live stream, from the Fashion Incubator out in Arizona, who posted for free on the internet some really cool design stuff. And with those 4 threading points, you can do a lot of different things. If you think the one that I'm holding is actually pretty small, it is. This is a kid size. We use the Deaconess standard of 5 inches by 7 inches for the kid sizes.
Which I think was recommended for ages 3 to 10, roughly.
Yeah. Folks with small faces. But if you're above age 10, or if you're shopping for someone over age 10, and you think maybe they'll want something in between, we can do that. It's really easy to take an adult size mask and cut it down.
Yeah, all of the masks that we've made for ourselves, like most of the binders and the sports bras that we've made for ourselves, are mostly experiments.
This is how we do. This is how we have done. Making binders really has been like our basis of experimentation for making masks. It's like, let's experiment and see what feels good and looks good and what other people want. This long loop mask is we made a bunch for someone who wanted something that was really quick to pull on and take off, but did not bother their ears.
Right.
Which are a lot of folks having stuff around your ears. It feels bad.
Especially, this is somebody who was going to be wearing it all day.
And it's hot. It's summer. We're sweaty. We have to do the thing that just feels the nicest, or else we're going to want to yank it off as soon as possible and potentially be unsafe about it. Yeah, it's very important to have something that feels good, because that also encourages us to be the safest that we can be.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is I'm still not going out a whole lot, so I don't have to worry so much about things behind my ears. Which you'd think I'd be more sensitive to that. I just realized I've had psoriasis behind my ears for my entire life. I mean, it's mostly been under control the past 10 years or so.
Yeah, but I haven't heard you mention it bothering you.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a flare up now, but it used to be bloody.
We should make you a couple of
Those?
long loops and see how you feel about them.
Yeah,
because if the cord is slipping around on you, this might help. So yeah, that's 4 ways to wear a mask, or 4 kinds of mask to put on. We've been having a lot of fun with mask prints and styles. There's a few of these are the stock prints on our website that we got something like 15 yards of, and so we have plenty to sell.
Yeah. This is boho poppies?
Yeah.
This one is
whale tails.
Whale tails. I think that's right. I said that.
Yeah.
And what do we end up calling this?
Twilight City.
Twilight City.
Yeah.
We went through 5 different names.
Also, Nego says high five to you. High five, ears falling off.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, there's the featured masks, the ones that we have that are listed as available in quantity on our website. We can do bulk orders of those. We can do something like 20 or 50 or 100 at a time. Whee! Yes, the whale one is adorable, and I love it, and I hope a lot of people get whales. I gave away 15 whale tail masks. We've been doing our regular rounds of donations a lot, but the whale tail masks were the ones that we sent to the Black Lives Matter protests in Minneapolis, because it felt like, oh, a pod. This is my solidarity symbol mask. I mean, it's the subtle one. We have some non-subtle ones too. We also have some really weird miscellaneous fabrics that this is, I don't know if you can see very well, but this is eggplants. There's 6 of them. And on the opposite side, I did a wood grain print because I wanted it to be in a garden.
Yeah, I think these are part of the bunch that we got from theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a theater that just handed us fabric and said, "Here, make masks, sell them, do whatever you want." And it was great, thank you. Here's a bunch of really weird masks for sale.
Yeah, and I've also got an artichoke one.
That's yeah.
The cheetah print one here with the it's tropical flowers on the back and the little flamingos with the mustaches. That was from a friend.
Yeah. Who again just handed us fabric here.
Yeah.
Make it. Go.
And I saw cheetah print. Again, I'm from New Jersey, and I was like, yes.
It's yours now. That one was yours the moment that it arrived. And also, us, we can't really resist a spoonflower print, and I especially can't resist an expressive text, "Hello, this is how I feel" print.
Nego says it's cheetah a New Jersey thing. It's it falls in that realm of quote unquote tacky that New Jersey is known for, particularly Italian Americans in New Jersey, especially wealthy ones.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's that sort of it's an indication that you're sort of a nouveau riche person who doesn't have a whole lot of class, which is absolutely it's a stereotype of Italian Americans in the U.S. And I've wholeheartedly embraced it. Not that I'm nouveau riche or anything. I just
there's a culture here.
Yeah. Italian American stereotypical fashion is considered tacky and trashy, and I've just embraced it out of spite.
The great motivating factor of our lives. So yeah, and also, one more thing I want to say about this one. It is the same designer who does our pronoun masks, La Bricoleuse on Twitter, and I gave her a few shout outs if you go to our Twitter. And this is a Broadway costume designer who is, of course, having a rough time at this moment because Broadway is not a thing in 2020 anymore. So
it's a thing. It's just on Disney.
Her fabric prints are great, and I'm going to order 1,000,000 yards of all of the pronoun fabrics and also the screaming mask. So join me in wearing screaming masks because it's that kind of year. Yeah. But yeah, that's what's currently available on our website, guys.
This is another one.
Oh yeah, that's one of the ones that we have in bulk.
Yeah.
We may or may not have an order for 50 of those already, so we'll get more fabric.
Yeah, I don't know how well you can really see it. It's more distinct on other parts of the fabric, but this is Green Mountain.
Green Mountain. Yeah.
It's like pine trees through fog.
Yes, we are in Vermont. How could you guess?
Anyway, Negative says my pronouns are Z, her, or ah.
Yes, correct. And there's one more. This kid mask also demonstrates one of our bulk fabrics. This one is called Mapped Quilt Town because it's a cool map that has lines like Flying Geese Lane and what's that one? Piecing Road. Yeah, and I really like it because from a distance it just looks interesting visually, like a map do, and then when you get really close up you're like, it's interesting and it's crafty, and here's a bunch of quilting nerds who have pushed subtle jokes out to everyone else. I love them. I think that's 5 out of the 6, right?
Yeah, I don't think we have any of the rest of them here. I think because we processed the rest of the like typeset.
Yeah,
the typewriter.
The typeset is the 6th one. It's a nice typewriter font, and that is currently being made into about 1 zillion masks.
Yeah, it's just a sequence of like letters, random letters, and maybe a couple of symbols. Yeah.
Making masks is different from making binders in a lot of ways, and one of them is that you can work from home. Specifically, our employees can work from home for a lot of the mask process. If you have a home sewing machine, you can do a fair amount of mask making. And so that has been something that we can do while still staying as safe as possible from the Rona. And it's been really nice to have something that we can all do that helps, that supports us a little bit, that goes out into the world. Even though we can't all sit in the studio and make binders on the industrial machines, which we cannot take home. So as we restart binder production with staggered shifts in the studio so that no 2 people are in the studio at the same time, we're still going to be making masks because folks can still work from home and make masks. It's very weird to have 2 factories running at once, but the binder factory can only have 1 person running it at a time. And the mask factory is decentralized. That's the word. It's decentralized, which is really neat and has been a really interesting thing to set up.
Ada's MM says heart.
Heart. Yay.
Yeah, we filled out the Vermont Department of Labor sent out an impact survey a couple weeks ago, and one of the questions was, how have all of your employees been working at the location above? If not, how many locations have they been working at? So it was a matter of counting up how many employees we had and where exactly they've been working out of, your individual homes.
Shapeshifters has never had more branch locations, more production locations, because a production location for our company is literally a table and a sewing machine.
Yeah.
Like you are looking at one of the 5 production locations. Yeah, 5 production locations.
I mean, unless you
for
count
our-
the table as a separate location from the couch.
No, I think legally that's all the same.
I don't know. When we were a home business, we had set this aside as our because when you're a home business, on your tax forms you have to estimate the percentage of the house that you're actually using for business.
They ask for square footage.
Yeah, and so this was it.
Taxes are wild.
So if this was the home business, then that is a separate space over there.
That's true.
Avery Edge says, moving up in the business world. Yes.
Hey.
Well, Shapeshifters franchise and every employee.
Oh. I feel like we're moving sideways. Like it's
like butter spread over too much bread.
I was thinking more like a horizontal non-hierarchical. No, it is still hierarchical. We're not yet an anarchist organization, but someday we might be. Anyways.
Are you going to cut up that spoonflower print?
I am going to cut up this spoonflower print because there's only like 2 of them and this is too small for a regular mask. Just slightly too small, so I wanted to use it as an experiment.
Well, I guess it's sort of fitting that the rose window fabric would have a window in it.
So this is a Notre Dame rose window cotton print. And this is clear vinyl, which is thin enough to act like fabric. We got a whole roll of it, which is kind of a pain in the butt to deal with because this roll is covered in, it's got the vinyl wrapped around it with a layer of paper and then a layer of...
Ada says that's a gorgeous print. I agree. That's not even like, that's just a section of it, like last year-ish.
Yeah. I love spoonflower. I love that people will do things like this where they're just like, oh, this is an art. Let's turn an art into a fabric print, and then let's make it in spandex and in cotton.
And then I think by the time we actually got around to making, by the time that their binder came up in the queue, Notre Dame had burned down.
But the windows lasted.
No, the
right?
the windows survived. Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a number of different designs for a clear window mask. And there seems to be a lot of questions or a lot of like internal debate. Maybe not. Maybe debate is too strong a word. People aren't responding directly to each other. But there's a question of breath fog. Is your breath going to fog this up?
Yeah.
If it's just vinyl, then yes, absolutely. If you have fabric around it, will the fabric absorb the breath fog enough that you can still see through it?
Yeah, I was curious about that too. Like, if the window is like just big enough to cover your mouth, and then the rest of it is fabric, that I thought that might mitigate some of the vinyl fogging.
Yeah. And then there's also a question of how big do you need it to be to actually lip read?
Yeah.
Like people who are speaking for lip readers oftentimes
over enunciate.
Like it's good practice to move your mouth around a lot.
Yeah.
So the window is bigger than just this, or it needs to be bigger than just that. So my thought today, as I sort of experiment and throw something together rather than go off of one of these 6 different patterns I've seen, is that I'm going to take one of these masks, put it on, consider how big the window needs to be there. This is extremely scientific and precise.
I mean, it looks like that's about 2.5 inches.
Okay. So I'm going to say that width and that there. Wow, that's like half of what I'd cut out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna leave some seam allowance still, because you always need seam allowance.
I wonder if also, because we have done masks with just the full inner layer, the inner lining was cotton flannel.
Mm.
And like if that's helping with eyeglass fog, then maybe that would help with this. Although you're breathing directly on it by necessity.
You are.
So,
that is true, but the flannel might still do some absorbing. I don't really know the full details. All right, I'm just pinning where the bottom of this will be.
And not stabbing yourself.
And not stabbing myself, a skill which I have learned from many, many years of pinning things while they are on me.
You always wanted a lip ring, right?
Not like this. Not like this. Okay, so I've pinned the center bottom of where the window's going to be, ish, and I've got that done. For those of you who weren't here at the start of this video, I want to reiterate that all of these masks are going in the laundry directly after this video, because I have done everything you should not do with a mask you are wearing. I have touched the front, I have touched the back, I have pawed all over them. Don't do that when you're actually wearing them to go out to protect yourself. Yeah, all of these are going straight to the laundry at the end of this video, because we are treating them like tailors treat garments, which is to say, to get your hands all up in them and take them apart and put them back together and then wash them. Always wash them.
We also instruct everybody to wash their masks after they get them and before they wear them for the first time, for the record.
Yes. You should do that not just with our masks, with any mask at all that you buy. When you buy it and it lands at your house or it lands in your hands, wash it before you wear it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. Like, hopefully everything is fine, but we are in scary times.
I mean,
so
even,
do a load of laundry.
Even if it's not the Rona, it could be literally anything else.
A cat hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you then put on your face. Like,
wait. Before you cut it out to exactly the size of the vinyl,
I should leave seam allowance.
Yes.
Thank you. It's Saturday. Alrighty, here's like 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, roughly. You know, I'm guesstimating. Thank you. I wish I had tailor's chalk, then I would have just drawn a square, but that's studio, so I'm just...
got pencils.
Yeah, but will a pencil show up on this?
Got Sharpies. It'll show up on the other side.
That's also true. Where's the... Oh. This is an experiment, so we can put Sharpie. It's fine. And...
Avery Edge says, thank you for the PSA. You're welcome. At some point, we're going to actually get our shit together enough to, which is probably entirely on me, to make up a... There's a giant ant over there.
That's a carpenter ant.
A carpenter ant?
Yeah. I'm gonna get our friend the carpenter ant outside.
We have a lot of ants, not inside the house. We have a lot of ants in the yard. But yeah, we're going to eventually put together a little informational slip that we can add in with the masks that we send out. Nigav says, you may have mentioned this. I left for a minute to get food, but how will you keep the vinyl from fogging up? That's what we're trying to figure out. The initial experiment, I think, is just to see how like big it needs to be, and if maybe the perforation along the edge of the vinyl would help with airflow going out, because you know, with vinyl is not like cloth. With cloth, the the threads can just sort of close back in on themselves and around the other thread. But the vinyl is just plastic and it won't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've seen a lot of discussion about that and not a whole lot of answers about how much it does actually fog up.
Yeah, there's also been like discussion of anti-fog measures, like wiping it with toothpaste and then wiping it off, various anti-fog coatings, which I have seen people respond to either saying this worked for me or this never works, and like the internet, you know.
I would also worry about coating it with something and then putting it right up against your mouth and nose.
Like toothpaste is one thing, but
I mean, it's even toothpaste. Then you're just breathing in menthol, and who wants to just breathe in menthol all day?
Yep.
But yeah, we were talking about maybe doing them solely on with masks that have a cotton flannel inner lining.
I do have some cotton flannel right here,
and thinking that might help a bit, but yeah, that is the big question.
So I've cut out this window that is not as big as the vinyl window. Thank you.
Negative says, as a scuba diver, my instinct is to say spit on it, but
I've seen that. I've seen that a lot. People saying spit on it, and that will keep it from fogging.
Avery Edge asks, will you use multiple layers of the plastic, or is one enough for that type of mask? I think one is enough, right?
One is enough because it is impermeable. The reason that you get multiple layers of cotton is that cotton breathes and has stuff go through and between the fibers. But yeah, you only need one layer of vinyl because nothing goes through the vinyl. If we could make a mask entirely out of vinyl without suffocating.
Yeah, I mean, like it's the same principle behind those face shields that are just one solid half tube of plastic.
Yeah, or like the plastic masks with a little breathing vent. But the breathing vent then becomes the point of contention where people ask, oh, is the breathing vent actually filtering everything out? That's a whole nother story. If you join the if you go to Open Source COVID-19 Supplies on Facebook, which is a group with about 1 million users right now, you will find acres of arguments about plastic masks and breathing vents. But the general consensus is that nothing gets through solid plastic vinyl. Yeah. Which is good, because I think multiple layers of it would be really hard to see through. I think the light would reflect pretty weirdly. So what I've done now is I've cut out this square, and I've cut little angled corners into every corner just a tiny bit, and now I've folded the edges inward. This isn't really necessary. I could sew with the raw edge, but I like having a folded finished edge. Makes me feel better.
You know, the other thing I would actually worry about, just like, not like as a serious concern, just like as a minor concern, with 2 layers of vinyl, right? There would still be even the most minor gap between them. Yeah. And even though they're sewn around the edges, they're not fully sealed. And you know, you're putting it right up against your face and you're breathing, and there's a lot of moisture just from your breath, and there's some moisture in the air, and there's all kinds of shit both in your mouth and in the air. And I would worry a bit about stuff ending up growing between the 2 vinyl layers.
2 layers of plastic plus moisture plus time equals mold and mildew.
Yeah.
Let's just breathe mold all the time. No. We here in our Vermont half-basement apartment have know that it's summer now because we are dealing with the mold that grows around. We have been running our giant dehumidifier a lot and fighting back various microscopic invasions. So that's certainly been on the household mind.
This has been a continual issue. We had when we first moved in, because all of our windows have these nice big shelves along them instead of just like a little windowsill. And we have like a relatively small collection of stuffed animals.
It's a medium-sized collection of stuffed animals.
And we had shoved them up against one of the windows. We had put them on a shelf, one of those window shelves right up against the window. And
we didn't think about it.
They over the course of winter, it was like in the middle of winter when we realized what was happening. They were creating insulation against the window because they're all full of like, you know, polyfill and all kinds of stuffing. And so between their insulation and the very cold weather outside, they had just created this
terrarium. Solid mold.
It wasn't
shelf.
Solid mold.
It was a lot of mold.
It built up so much condensation that they had mold on them. The window had mold on it, and we eventually noticed it because the mold started creeping up the side of the window, the window frame.
R.I.P. to the Build-A-Bear that said, "I love you" in Chinese to me, because after we ran that through the laundry a few times, it no longer had a recorded message that you could hear when you squeezed the hand. Why did I have a Build-A-Bear that said, "I love you" in Chinese? Listen, that's another story. But it's a very cute one.
Negative says, "I'm eating."
I'm sorry. I have been folding. What?
Negative has followed that up with, "I think I'm done eating now." My poor Han Solo Build-A-Bear. His foot used to sing the Star Trek theme song.
Han Solo used to sing the Star Trek theme song?
Star Wars. His name wasn't actually Han Solo. It was I didn't get a lot of
some damn bear pun.
Scruffy looking nerf herder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the fuzz on his well, he was Han Solo, and also the fuzz on his chest was all like weird.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it was just sort of it sounded like a waterlogged Star Wars theme for a while, and now it just doesn't play at all.
He's even scruffier now. So what I've done is I have folded back those raw edges on both sides and pinned the vinyl through it. And it might be best practice in future experiments not to pin it, but to tape it or glue it or do something that doesn't punch holes in the thing. But I am sewing it.
Yeah, you're going to punch holes in it anyway.
Yeah, and this pin actually has a smaller circumference than the needle, so it might not make a difference after all. Anyways, here's Miles. Yeah.
Yes.
Miles, our guest machine. Here to do some sewing. And where's the bobbin holder? Do you see that? There it is. Thread bobbins, because it wouldn't be proper, even as a tester, to not use a fancy thread for a fancy fabric like this.
Avery Edge asks, "Do you name all of your machines?"
Yes. It's important. It's much easier in the studio to say, "Oh, this table by GLaDOS," or "Oh, that tool that's sitting on top of Jason," rather than to say, "Oh, the tool sitting on top of the serger, not that serger, the other serger, you know, the brother M40 instead of the brother M46.
We should add the machines to our about page.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do you know what we should do? I mean, first we should ask our employees how much they want an online presence, which I've been meaning to do for a while. But we should have profiles for our people and also our non-human people. Come on. And yeah, this is a guest machine, and it's very quiet, and so we needed the name of a guest player in a video game that does stealth missions, and it's Miles.
By guest, we mean that somebody lent it to us.
Yes. Miles is on loan to us as a home machine because our regular home machine, Wanda, is at the studio doing binder work. Should there be a white thread on top? Yeah, a white thread will do for this, for the backing. Alrighty, I'm now gonna sew this all together.
Nick is also shaming me for saying Star Trek theme. I just want to say we woke up at like 12:30 today.
By complete accident. That just sort of happened.
We stayed up too late last night.
It's true. But it also reminds me of the Monster Factory, where Justin and Griffin went to the Star Trek MMO and named a character Yoba Skywalker Star Wars. So good job with that. See? He's so quiet. I love it.
I think this is probably the youngest machine we've ever had.
Yeah. No, I think Wanda was new when we got her.
No, Wanda was like 80s.
No, that was Victor.
Yeah, and it's also Wanda.
Huh.
All the really new machines look like this. They're all like sleek. And...
This is true.
Yeah.
This is the fashion.
Yeah, we didn't get Wanda long enough ago for her to not have this. Negative says, that's even worse, Krista. It means you're well rested. We went to sleep at like 3 o'clock. And I woke up like 3 times over the course of the night. Eli was playing Persona 4 Golden.
Persona 4 Golden is on Steam. No one expected this, and it derailed my life. Look, everything derailed my life, but Persona 4 Golden did it in a good way.
The Persona 4 Golden, for those who don't know, was a remake of the original Persona 4 game that added some new content. The story is still basically exactly the same, but you have a social link with Adachi.
It's very strange.
If you want, you don't have to. There's a farming sim.
There is a small farming sim.
And yeah, the graphics have been updated and everything. And it came out for the PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, it was like one of the 2 reasons I might have gotten a PlayStation Vita.
Was the PlayStation Vita? It was a mobile.
Yeah.
It was
maybe
a Game Boy.
Maybe it was for the PlayStation Portable.
No, it was the Vita.
It must have been the Vita. Yeah.
Everybody talks about the Vita. I just never remember what it actually was. But yeah, and then they just suddenly, out of nowhere, dropped it onto Steam. And it
very cool of them. Very cool.
It immediately became the most.
The most concurrent players for a non-MMO on Steam ever. So I think one of the things that's interesting about the vinyl window, which I'm sure is a problem that other people have solved. I know other people have solved this problem, and I just didn't look them up, is that you can't really pleat it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting a pleat in the top and the bottom of it. I'm just taking this top part and pleating it downward for sewing, and then it will fold out upward over my nose when I'm done.
Pleat it at all?
I mean, if you do pleat the vinyl, then that'll compromise the visibility, won't it?
Well, no, because it doesn't really hold a fold. But also, you don't have to like fold it.
Yeah. Yeah. Krista has done more pleating than I, and these are mask making days. So here are some pins if you would like them for experimenting purposes. And while you're doing that, I am also going to cut some flannel for experiment 2. But yeah, Persona 4 Golden has been taking over a lot of my life in a really, really good way.
Jacob says, "Oh yeah, I play farming sims, Stardew Valley, Persona 4, all of them HRY."
Listen,
we don't have Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Okay.